What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. So, Canelo Alvarez is going to cruiserweight. He wants to become, excuse me, a 5 division world champion. So we know he did it at 154, 160, 168, 175. Now, the guy that he's going up to fight, I find it funny because people call him Ilunga Makabu, but then I'm hearing them call him Makabu Ilunga. So I'm like, well, which is his first and which is his last? Okay. Anyway, he's 34 years old. He has 30 professional fights, 28 wins and 2 losses, 25 by knockout, and 3 went to decision. He's a slick southpaw. He can box. He places his punches well. He works off of his jab. He doesn't throw a lot of unnecessary shots. 6 feet tall, 34 years old. Like I said, he's a good fighter. He has some power. Now, Canelo, what a lot of people don't pay attention to and understand, Canelo is very calculated. His team is very calculated. When Canelo was fighting at 154 pounds, I remember him saying he walks around at 178 pounds. So Canelo was fighting at a much smaller weight then. This is why you see his power carries over, because Canelo's strong, he can punch. His strength and conditioning training, what he's doing, and his technique of throwing punches where he can get more snap. And it goes to show you, like I said, you always heard trainers say, oh, you can't develop power, even you have it or you don't. That's bullshit. Your technique on how you throw your shots, there's ways to develop more power, and there's ways to get more effective shots by throwing your punches properly, getting your hip into your shots, turning at the torso, different things. Okay, Canelo is doing those things, and Canelo is a solid puncher. He always has been. If Canelo then was only in his mid 20s, Canelo by now he probably walks around much heavier than 178. So the fight at cruiserweight, he's just not burning off as much weight. He may be just as comfortable. We'll see. He had no problem against Kovalev, just a height disadvantage. He has had a height disadvantage in several fights and still won against guys, 160, 175, 168, all of that. So Canelo, I think this is a good fight. I think that him going up to add to his legacy, it's a good thing. Now, a lot of people are shooting it down because they don't know, this guy's a Congolese South African, and people don't know him. So pretty much what everybody was looking forward to the second he beat Caleb Plant was, David Benavidez. That's the fight we all want to see. Okay, well, this is what's going to go down, and this is all so strategic in what he's doing, because he said he's going to take some time off. When he comes back, he's going to fight this guy. If these guys are sitting back waiting for the lottery ticket to fight Canelo and being inactive, that's only going to harm them. Now, what could harm them is they fight and lose. But at the same time, you got to build your legacy. You should be doing everything in your power. So when you step in that fight, people are going, I don't know, that's going to be a good one with Canelo. Because right now, Canelo's at a point where no matter who he fights, people feel like he's going to win. And pretty much this whole thing about going up in weight, going down, this has been going on forever. This is not something that's new. Canelo is not stupid. Do you remember when he beat Kovalev? He was asked a question about, is he going to stay at 175? He said that his team was feeling like, they don't want him to give up too many disadvantages, so they didn't think they were going to stay at 175, and they went back down to 168. Now he's going not back to light heavy, but past light heavy to go to cruiserweight. You better believe, and he spars with heavyweights, so you better believe Canelo has sparred and carried this weight where he feels comfortable in that ring. He knows, okay, I can carry this weight. At the end of the day, he's making his move. He's taking some time off, like you said, and I believe in taking that time off, he's going to keep training. Maybe not necessarily constantly in the gym sparring and things like that, but keep training so this weight doesn't become fat. If he comes in at the weight limit, especially, and not like a lot of pounds, you're going to know, yep, his body has grown into this weight. I believe his power will carry over and that it won't be a thing. Now, as far as him getting hit with whatever 8 ounce, 10 ounce, whatever size glove they're going to wear by a cruiserweight, we'll see, because we know when they spar, he got 16 ounces on the headgear. So, he does spar with heavyweights. But at the end of the day, I can tell you something about this guy. I've watched several fights of his. When he gets tired, he is super easy to hit. He's skilled. He's talented. Like I said, he places shots well. He doesn't throw a whole lot of unnecessary shots. He does move well. He slides. He moves his head well. He showed good defense so far. I've seen him take some big shots and didn't go down. But at the same time, in his 2 losses, he's still at 30 fights, still not at the experience level of Canelo. But being a naturally bigger guy, fighting at a bigger weight, naturally, that's going to be his advantages mostly. Now, I don't know if the southpaw stance will give Canelo a problem coming from him, but he tires very easily, man. Like when he's good, but when he gets tired, like I said, he's easy to hit. He's super easy. He's there to be hit when he gets tired. And I'm pretty sure that in them selecting to fight him to go up as a cruiserweight, he's 6 feet. Canelo's what, 5'9", 5'10", whatever. So he's a little tall. He definitely has some height over Canelo. But he pretty much, I'm pretty sure they're looking at that. And not that they think it's an easy fight, but the fact that when Canelo catch you slipping and you're not active, that's when Canelo starts getting surgical on you. And he's there to be hit. So if Canelo can capitalize, if he comes in better shape to where he can, if it does go 12 rounds and he's not gassing, Canelo can be in for a long night, But if it turns to a situation where Canelo's in there and they're going back and forth and this guy starts to tire, that's when Canelo's going to turn up. And basically it will be a thing of, he was holding his own until he got tired. So believe that Canelo and his team is going to be calculated. And also, what's going to happen is this. However long that this fight's going to take to happen, I don't know. But however it goes, these guys are pretty much in a position of, are you guys going to fight each other, or are you just going to sit back and wait for Canelo? So Benavidez, the Charlos, we don't even know what's going to happen with these guys. Canelo might even, after this fight, if he wins, he may wind up, you know what? Let me go fight somebody like heavyweight again. Let me go make history again. Who knows? And these guys need to fight, but there are guys that we want to see fight Canelo that are not going to be able to fight Canelo. Somebody got to be next, but we don't know who it's going to be. And pretty much outside of cruiserweight and light heavyweight, the 3 names that come up often, more than anybody else, is Jamal Charlo, and Benavidez, and Demetrius Andre. That's the guys that people match up against Canelo. Now, he beat Caleb Plant, and people wasn't even giving Plant a chance. Plant showed that, hey, I'm a real deal fighter. Right? Canelo's better, but I'm there. I'm there. You know what I mean? I'm there. I hung in there for 11 rounds, and I'm fighting back. I'm not in here running from him and trying to hide and hold on. We're fighting. Canelo's the better man, plain and simple. So now people are starting. Now it took him to fight him and not get blown away. Like people were saying, this ain't going but 1 or 2 rounds, and they realized now, okay, Caleb was better than I thought he was. So nobody was really talking about him versus Caleb. They were saying, why is this fight even happening? But those other 3 guys, Those are the names that come up. Even though the majority of people feel like Canelo is going to beat the three of them, the fight should still happen. Now, if they don't happen, and Canelo carries on whatever he wants to do, it is what it is. Like I said, for people that don't want to see certain fights, I don't support stuff I don't want to see. That's just me. Y'all do what y'all want to do. But I don't support stuff I don't want to see. I think this is a good fight. And for me, I'm not sitting up here throwing tantrums and having fits because two grown men decide they don't want to fight each other. That's their business. It doesn't affect me personally. I don't know why it affects other people. The sport that I love and all this, whatever, man. Whatever. I have a life. I'm not walking here pissed and mad about something some other people did. That has nothing to do with me. I'm an observer. I'm not even a fan. I love fighting. I love all types of combat sports, not just boxing, but boxing is, this is what we're talking about. And at the end of the day, if these guys want to fight, they want it to happen, it will happen. If it's a situation of the networks don't want certain fights, which happens often too, once they get that political side of things cleaned up, if they can, it is what it is. Look, should Canelo win, that adds to his legacy. That pushes him up even higher. If he does lose, maybe it's because it was, maybe he couldn't carry. We don't know. We have to see. Or maybe the guy's just better than people thought. Whatever it's going to be, I'm not focused on the excuses that people make about why a guy won or why a guy lost. I'm not focused on that at all. I'm just looking at the two competitors, and my interest has nothing to do. It's not affected by what everybody else thinks, what people are saying. I look at the two guys involved. If this guy does beat Canelo, popularity doesn't come to everybody the same way. Because you beat this guy, you automatically become a star. No, it doesn't necessarily happen that way. The one thing is the Cruiserweight division has been dead. The last two names in the Cruiserweight division that I like was Vasily Jarov and James Toney. All the Noros was there, but there wasn't really much going on in terms of popularity. Those were the last two times I seen a Cruiserweight fight where people were really making noise about that particular fight. And even that fight wasn't people don't even really talk about that fight. The Cruiserweight division has been dead. Marco Huck, he had a title run and people didn't even know who the hell he was. And I remember when he was supposed to fight Roy Jones, and then Roy Jones lost to whoever the guy was, and Usyk for he carried that torch alone. He pretty much was the Cruiserweight division. Nobody was talking about any other Cruiserweight fighters. Certain guys you might remember them that was in a division, but I mean the division itself has never been a popular division. So maybe Canelo going in to fight this guy, maybe it might start to, who knows? Because if this guy beats Canelo, and let's just say he starts, getting more pay-per-view spots and people talking about, who knows? However it's going to go. Is Canelo going to stay there? That's the thing. When it comes to 175 and now him going to Cruiserweight, is Canelo going to stay there? Is he going to go back to 168? We don't know. But anyway, I think it's a good fight. Don't sleep on this guy. This guy, he got skills. He can fight. I don't think Canelo, they picked him because they think he's an easy fight. I don't know why they picked him exactly, because he's not unified. He's WBC. Only they know what their actual reasons for picking him is. But by no way am I looking at this like it should be an easy fight for Canelo. This is actually a dangerous fight for Canelo. Now, if this guy, like I said, if he starts to gas out and Canelo's still around and he don't get Canelo out of there, Canelo is going to take advantage of him getting really tired. Now, if the weight doesn't affect Canelo, and Canelo doesn't start gassing, because at the end of the day, though, I believe, look, when you're in the gym, you see all types of things happening. And like I said, Canelo and his team is very calculated. And believe me, I'm confident that Canelo has been training, and when he trains and he goes up in weight, that like I said, he walked around at 178 when he was fighting at 154. So he's probably walking around now, definitely 180 something, maybe 190 pounds. We've seen it. Let's not forget, what's the guy that fought Floyd? And then retired. Fought Floyd twice. The same guy, Maidana. Look at Maidana's height. Maidana's walking around like 220 pounds now. Now he's fat, but the point is, well, he's like 5'8", 5'7", 5'8", maybe something like that. He's a short guy. Little, he's not. You don't imagine a guy fighting at 147 being that big. So this is what I'm telling you. These guys are not as small as you think they are. Errol Spence, y'all call him the weight bully because he walks around like 170 something pounds. He's fighting at 154. He's not the only one. This has always been throughout boxing. They have you fight at lighter weights, so you are naturally the bigger, stronger person. So the same way Canelo is fighting guys at 154 and he was walking around 170, 178, yeah, he was naturally the bigger, stronger guy. So you're going to have advantages at certain divisions against certain fighters. You're going to have disadvantages. It's part of boxing. But I think it's a good fight. And whenever Canelo comes back and this fight happens, yeah, I'm interested in that fight. And then what he does next, we'll just have to see. It's one fight at a time, man. You can't fight everybody at the same time. But in the meantime, they need to have some eliminators go down. Because I feel like people are just going to hold on and maybe take easy fights, trying to, keep from losing so they don't lose their spot against Canelo. But it's like, if he's going to be the workhorse and keep fighting, and then you guys are going to just try to hold on to your spots. You're not fighting. You can't say he's not fighting the people we really want to see him fight, and then you guys are not either. Because then, what claim are you making? At least he's out here unifying and out here chasing titles. And to see guys just walking around talking about who's going to beat who and I'll beat both of them and I'm this and I'm this. And it's like, yeah, you've been holding that title on your shoulder and talking shit for the longest. We need to see you guys get in there and make something happen. And this is what I'm saying. So while he's out here adding to his legacy, this is what everybody else need to be doing. You need to get some title eliminators going on and force these guys to fight each other, man. So, at the end of the day, if you are as confident in your words, you would be making these fights happen. And that's just the way it goes. Even to this day, I've been telling you guys, man, I've been wanting to see Demetrius Andrade versus Jamal Charlo. And Jamal Charlo, whoever he fights, I'm pulling for him to win. But Jamal Charlo is the reason that fight with Andrade is not happening. Let's just be honest. Whoever Errol Spence fight, I've been rolling with him. Now, between him and Bud, I'm kind of like, damn, you know what? I just want to see a good fight. I'm cheering for both of them against each other. Put it like that. But Spence is definitely the reason that fight didn't happen. Now, on another note, while we talking about it, Terrence Crawford said that he's leaving Top Rank. He said that, he wished everybody the best. He said, but Bob Arum couldn't get me. He couldn't secure the Spence fight while I was with him. So how is he going to secure the fight when I'm not with him? So he's moving on. And that's better for him. We've been saying this for the longest, that he needs to move on, because if you can't get these fights and you're just letting all these good, all these years, like just so much time go by where you're not able to get these fights. Now, after he defeated Sean Porter last night, there's probably going to be more doors open for him. It should be. It definitely should be. Because all this talk about, well, he ain't fought nobody. Well, the guys don't want to fight him. He just beat Sean and stopped him. There's no way that his stock should not have risen. So if his next fight is against a guy like Ugas, okay, cool. But we need to get him in there with Spence. When Spence is ready, he's 100%. His eyes fine. He's not, everything is, his health is intact. Make this fight happen. But anyway, just, speaking about, the topic with Canelo and this guy, Ilunga, Makabu Ilunga. Like I said, they keep saying his name one way. You see his name printed both ways. Junior Makabu Ilunga. Well, then they call him Ilunga Makabu, so I don't know. But either way, that's a good fight. It's a dangerous fight. And I salute Canelo for taking that fight, because, to be honest with you, yeah, truthfully, most of us, myself included, would rather see him fight Benavidez. But it is what it is. Like I said, I'm not going to cry over nothing for what. But this is a good fight. And don't be shocked of the outcome if Canelo does pull off the win, or if he does lose, because this guy can fight. But again, I'm saying it again. The one weakness I see in him is when he gets tired. He is there to be hit with power shots, with anything, a jab, uppercut, hook. He's just there, body shots when he gets tired. And when he gets tired, a lot of times he comes in, he does a little side-to-side dip, and you throw a shot, especially like if you throw a jab, he kind of turns his head and leaves his arms open. And he does it often. And against a guy like Canelo, if Canelo doesn't knock him out, he's going to be landing and hurting him and pretty much dominating. The fight may end up getting stopped if he don't knock him out cold. But at the end of the day, it's a fight that I'm looking forward to. So, salute to all fighters who go in there and make it happen. Salute to all fighters that got the heart to get in there and want to fight the top guys. You know, and that's just the way it should be. So, never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.